Welcome to the Handcrafted Podcast, the business of making things. I'm Paul, founder of Philadelphia Table Company and the Handcrafted Network, and I believe great craftsmanship deserves great business strategy. This podcast is for makers who want to build not just great products, but a thriving business. Each episode will dive into the mindset, systems, and skills that turn craft into success. Hey guys, welcome back to the Handcrafted Podcast. Hope everybody has been doing well. We're getting into the second week of February here, so we're getting pretty deep into the year at this point, and hope everyone's been busy. Hope everyone's been, keeping going and keeping on. So reminder, this podcast is brought to you by the Handcrafted Network. It's an online community of professional and semi-professional woodworkers where you can connect with people, you can learn from them from within the community, within the network. I have classroom stuff, so you can go and learn different things that way through different modules I've created. And there's group calls. We just did group calls this week. This was one of the weeks where I have two. We have two different groups. We have the Handcrafted Success group, which is usually single solopreneur kind of people, and then we have Handcrafted Scaling. Those are for people who have at least one employee. Many guys have 2 or 3 employees, and we talk about all the things needed for scaling and hiring. We had a lot of conversations about hiring and scaling this past week. With that said, a lot of people have asked me, hey, why did you start the Handcrafted Network? Like, what's the reason behind it? Yada, yada, all that stuff. So I wanted to share a little bit with you guys here about why I created this podcast, why I created the community, all of that sort of stuff. So as I was growing my business for the past, 11 years, 12 years in the early days, I was always able to find a ton of information on how to make the thing that I wanted to make. So, for woodworkers, there's tons of joinery, YouTube channels, there's tons of woodworking channels, all of this sort of stuff. But what there isn't a lot of is how to run a maker business. It's such a unique business. There's a lot of just general business information out there, but running a maker business is really unique and different. And as I started diving into it, I found that there were, of course, a few channels or a few podcasts and things, but it was just nobody was really getting to the meat and potatoes of it. People were telling, I think, kind of wrong information. People who weren't running companies were doing things. There's content people out there that are just trying to sell, their services and buying ads for you and how to sell farm tables and all this kind of crap. But there wasn't really a dedicated thing to actually just helping you learn how to run the business. So as I was coming up, as I was gathering all this information, I, kind of vowed to be hey, as I start to figure this out, I want to share it with everybody else. I have a unique perspective in the fact that I have a longer commute, so I get to listen to different podcasts. I read books. I'm constantly reaching out to different mentors, talking to different people, learning from anybody and everybody that I can. I'm just consider myself a forever student. So I want to be able to share that information with you guys. And I was a teacher in my previous life, so I very much enjoyed teaching. I also enjoy connecting with people. So that explains sort of the why. The community, I thought, was something that would be super helpful for people to be able to ask questions. Sometimes you don't know what questions to ask until you see the question that somebody else asked, and it might be an answer to something you have. I also am a big believer in sort of high tide raises all ships. So leaning on somebody else, leaning on a community of people, leaning on a bunch of brains. For me, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, 1 + 1 = 5. So it's if we have a group, we have, over 100 people in this community, and all of them are equally contributing, and everybody is participating and helping each other, giving each other different perspectives. Yes, of course, there's talk about how to make certain things, but it's a lot of talk about how do I find shipping? How do I bill shipping? How do I deal with this, problem client? How do I price my things? How do I grow? How do I get more sales? How do I do marketing? So all of that stuff is just so valuable that, it's been really exciting to watch that part of it grow and to sort of see the vision come to life and come to fruition. So at the end of the day, my goal was to create something. Of course, I could talk to you all day about how to do certain things, how to make certain joints and all of that sort of stuff, how to sand walnut or whatever. But I think the thing that's really lacking is knowledge on how to run a business, how to run a maker business. So that's the point of this podcast. That's the point of the online community. This podcast only touches just kind of skims the surface. The community has a lot more stuff in there: handouts, worksheets, connection with people, group calls, one-on-one calls, all of that sort of stuff is in the community. So if you're looking for more, and this is sort of just, scratching the itch a little bit, but you have a deeper itch or a deeper yearning to learn more, to grow more, to dive deeper, to ask more questions, I think, check out the community. It's a really great place for you to be. And if you have questions about it, feel free to email me, paul@thehandcraftednetwork.com. The link to join the community is in the show notes. So if you're looking on, say, Spotify or Apple, it's down in the show notes there. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's going to be in the comments section or in the show notes on that. All right, with that said, diving into the podcast today, it's been a long week for me. It's been a pretty busy week, a busy 2 weeks. So yeah, it's not, I didn't get a chance to fully prepare something per se today. So it's just going to be a little bit of a ramble, sort of the things that I've been going through, sort of the things that I've been learning, talking to some of the other people in the group and from our group call yesterday. So this week was just one of those weeks for me where it's just you're coming in and you're putting out fires, lots of problems to solve, lots of just what the heck is going on? Why am I doing this? Whatever, light a match and throw it into the wood shop and walk away kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, I as I said before many times, I lean on the mentors, I lean on community, I lean on a bunch of other people. And everybody I sort of talk to is I don't know, sort of feeling the same way in a way. And what I've kind of come to conclude is, and we were talking about this in the group too, is running a business is just problem solving. It's basically just a never-ending game of Whac-A-Mole, and there's going to be really hard problems. There's going to be tough things that you need to solve, and I think sometimes it's just a matter of putting on your adult pants and stepping up and doing the problem. I always obviously am talking about hiring and greatness is in the agency of others, but a lot of times you can't just hire the problem away. We were talking about this with someone in the group where he's like, hey, I'm a little unorganized or could use a little bit of help. And I was just sometimes we need to focus on fixing our own internal things. And sometimes we need to be the one that dives in and does the hard thing. So often we're looking for, I don't know, the easier solution. I mean, with AI and ChatGPT and all the ways that you can use AI, obviously there's easy ways to do it. And everybody online and in YouTube videos and whatever is always talking about the hack, right? The biohacking or the hack, my business hack, this is how I'm making tons of money. But so many times it's just a matter of just doing the hard thing. You just have to roll up your sleeves and go in and do it. And, inevitably you're going to solve this problem and there's going to be another problem that comes up. So that's going back to what I was saying before, it's just being a business owner or starting a business is just really just a constant game of whack-a-mole. So it's you solve this problem, then there's another problem. Then you solve this problem, then there's another problem. So if you take each individual mole, if you will, if we're going to follow the analogy through, and make it this is the biggest problem that I need to solve, what's going to happen? You're going to solve it, and then there's going to be another one that pops up. So what I've been really trying to do a little bit lately is just step away, take a breath, and go, okay, this isn't so serious, right? People's lives aren't in my hands. I'm not, curing brain cancer or something like that, right? So taking a breath, not taking it so seriously, knowing that, sort of embrace the problem solving, knowing that once I solve this problem, there's going to be another problem for me to solve. So it's if I'm constantly just chasing and playing this never ending game of whack-a-mole, what's going to happen? I'm going to be retired or old, looking back and be oh my God, every single day, week after week, I was just exhausted from taking this game of whack-a-mole so seriously. And not every problem can be solved right away. Not every problem is going to be solved right in the moment. Not every problem is going to be solved, in the next year, the next month, or whatever it is. And it's just a matter of embracing those problems and understanding that, as business owners, that's what we do. We are problem solvers. And I think many of you guys listening can all agree that what kind of lured you to starting your own business is solving problems, is puzzles, is figuring out the path forward. And the path forward isn't always easy. The path forward sometimes requires going in and, I don't know, firing someone or making a big strategic move, putting out money, doing long, intense meetings, doing some clear thinking, losing money, like all of these things just like sort of culminate into what makes a business and a lasting business. It's what's going to make you a business owner. And you guys know I talked about it last week. I met with my mentor, one of my mentors, and we went out to lunch, and he's 65, I think, and been doing business for 25 years. And he's like, he's still solving problems too. I mean, every day you wake up and you solve them. So I just wanted to just come vent, talk a little bit, release the energy, and maybe some of you guys are in this same sort of position where it's like I feel like I'm just on a constant treadmill, just like running, and just like, battling these different zombies that come at me. And it's just know that it's just going to be a never ending flow of this, and just to like take a breath, not take it too seriously, take time away from the work, take time away from the business. I know for me, my business is super important in my life. Obviously, it's not more important than my family, but it's something that I care about a lot. I lose a lot of sleep over it, trying to figure out how to pay people or make the next project or make something grow or whatever. This is also a time too where it's like we've set goals in January, and February starts coming around. You're like, oh my God, I don't know about that goal anymore. And that's kind of happened to me too, where I was just like, okay, I set this particular goal, and I was like, okay, maybe now I need to deviate a little bit. Maybe the new focus needs to be this other thing, not that thing, because this is what's in front of me and this is what I need to solve here. But yeah, so in sum, business is a constant game of Whac-A-Mole. Don't take it too seriously. Take a breath, embrace the problem solving, treat it like, I don't know, a Wordle or something, and just go, okay, I'm going to have to solve a Wordle today, and then there's going to be a Wordle tomorrow, and there's going to be a Wordle the next day. And each problem solving thing may help make the other problem easier, but sometimes it may not. And then there are going to also be times where you just need to roll up your sleeves. You need to be the person. You need to be the boss. You need to look in the mirror and say, I got this. This is a me problem. I'm going to solve this today, or I'm going to solve this over the next month, or I'm going to solve this over the year. Hiring someone is not going to help. Throwing a life raft out isn't going to help. But with that said, you can lean on others. You could ask for help, ask for advice, but maybe hiring away the problem isn't totally the answer. All right, guys. Sorry for the quick one today. Just like I said, had a kind of a crazy week. Hope everybody, again, is doing well. Hopes everyone has a great week, and I look forward to connecting with you guys next time. I'm starting to collect questions for an office hour, so if you have any questions that you'd like to share, please email me, paul@thehandcraftednetwork.com. Again, that's paul@thehandcraftednetwork.com. I look forward to hearing from you guys. See ya.